Hey, what's going on, everybody? Big Kev from Big Kev's World coming at you here with another video. It comes to my attention that I'm a very big advocate of a lot of things. One thing I'm a very big advocate on is animals. Um, I love animals. I'm a big animal rights person. Um, but the one thing that I'm more of an advocate for than anything is mental health. And that's why I'm coming here today to talk about mental health and to talk about some things that you guys may or may not know about me personally. I'm not going to go into full fledged details because it's really nobody's business on it. The one thing about me, though, the one thing that I always, uh, the one thing that my friends outside of YouTube have always respected about me is that I'm a straight shooter. I'll shoot you, I'll look you dead straight in your eyes and shoot you. And another thing that I am very much is I'm very honest with my feelings. I have a very big high moral compass. My hypocrisy can only go so far, and I don't handle drama very well. But I'm not here to talk about that. There is something about me that is more than meets the eye. Um, some people would say that I'm a lot like Bruce Banner from Marvel, like Hulk. Sometimes you get to meet this good part of me, but then there's that other part of me who's a beast, who's uh, wild eyes, beast, very much don't give a fuck kind of person. Um, 9 times out of 10, when I meet someone, I actually am myself. I am the guy that will, I will give my shirt off my back for you. I'm the type of person where if you need any help, I'm there for you. But in my life, through my family, through past friends, through past relationships, I've been fucked over so much in my life that I have always earned. I mean, it's not just a motto. When I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin come out with the whole DTA, don't trust anybody, that's not just a motto. I live that all my life. The quarter mile, I live it. What's up, Poston? Prodigal Hill there, and that's one guy right here who I really respect and admire and trust is a Prodigal Hill here. Um, I don't trust very easily. A lot of that stems from my childhood. A lot of that stems from speaking of my childhood. I had a rough one. I don't really tell a lot of people this. I had to grow up in somewhat poverty. My parents didn't have a lot of money. We had to live in little small houses with sometimes with rats, sometimes with um, my parents both never graduated high school, so and that's something too. Is like I went through a lot of poverty. Um, not to the point to where homeless, but to the point of I have an evil. I've been through some stuff. Um, I grew up on the west part of Nashville, and during that time, I had to learn how to street fight. I had to learn how to defend myself. I had to learn how to scrape, scrap, claw to get my way out of a hole. And the guys that I used to, there was one house that we lived in up on the block was a projects. And every time I heard shooting, I heard someone got stabbed, I would hear gunshots. I would have to get in a fight with some of these guys to survive as a kid. So I have that fight or flight mentality, and I still have it to this very day. Even at 40 years old, I still have that mentality. I have a lot of and also I have some PTSD moments. When I hear a gunshot, my reaction is to go and pull out my gun and defend myself. And that's something that really is very dark. I mean, I think Prodigal Hill would understand about what I mean by PTSD. It's not a very good situation to have. And I'm one of those people where when we had to live in the poverty thing, and then when we had some money, my parents ended up spending it a lot, and they tried to spend it on a lot of stuff. And there was one point where, yeah, I did have to. I went through the phase where I was wearing all those Jordans and high price sneakers and stuff like that. But what it did was it caused my family to go bankrupt. So it's those situations. Um, I was mentally, verbally, and emotionally abused, not just by my mom, not by just my brother, but some of my family members. It was an emotional. I don't like to really go into details because I'm not going to do that, but it's emotional. I have a hard time now where even if me and Mel are talking, if Mel just raises her voice, I get angry and I snap back because I don't like someone raising their voice at me, and I don't like people yelling. I don't like people in the midst of when I see a lot of drama happen on a Facebook chat. I'm out of there. I'm gone. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care who did what. That's not who I am as a person. I don't want to. I don't want to be a part of something like that. And there was one point where I had Kev's point of view. Most of y'all were sub to it. I had like 400 subs on there, and I was going through a lot of emotional stuff during that time. My dad almost died having that stroke. I went through the whole fiasco of separation, and there was this whole big old thing with that. I stepped away for a couple years on a channel that I worked very hard on just to come back. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't realize, the kind of shit that I've been through. You know, it's not a easy thing because I wake up every day with a lot of skeletons in my closet. I wake up with a lot of demons that I have to fight. Every day that I wake up could be a good day or it could be a bad day. Sometimes they're good days. Sometimes I wake up and I feel fantastic. And with a switch like that, I can go from fantastic to in a bad mood very quick. And there's some people on here who try to get me to come on there and try to confront them. Let me tell you something. Reason why I never really confront. Yeah, you come back and people are suddenly pushing for World War III. Exactly. And a lot of people don't know that I tried to join the military at one point. I tried to join the Marines, and I did very well on my test. I almost did become a Marine in 2001. I was going to be a junior sniper. I was very good with the gun. A lot of people don't know how good I am as a sniper. As a sniper, I can get you from miles away. Mentally, they wouldn't let me go. They wouldn't let me come to war, and that irks me because I'm a guy who loves my country, and I'm a guy who likes to, and I respect people who serve this country. Who does the things that they do, and not being able to do that though. But it was also a blessing because I would have never been able to meet Mel, and I wouldn't have been able to meet my wife that I have now. And it's just there's a lot of things that I'm very grateful for. And as much as I'm glad I wasn't. I mean, I got a friend now, a friend I've been friends with for 30 years now, who's a staff sergeant in the military now. Seeing him having to go through all this BS in the world right now, it's insane. It's pretty much insane. And I live in a world where I like to. I mean, I do care about people's feelings, but I also am a type of person where Mel can attest to this. There's a part of me that some of y'all don't see that I really just don't give a fuck. I really am a kind of guy where I will talk about it to Mel. Me and Mel will talk about it, and we'll come to a decision together. If I don't care, then I just don't care. It's not because I'm hiding that I don't care. It's just the fact that I don't like people seeing me that way. Because there's a part of me that once it's on, there's no way to shut it off. And once that part of me is there, I have to step away. I have to take a step back, because if I don't take a step back, I'm going to end up saying something that either A, later I might regret, or it may come out with a can of worms. And I'm one of those people who bow out gracefully. Oh, hey, what's up, Charlie? Good to see her on here. Yeah, I mean, I'm just one of those people who, with my family, the first time that I was ever diagnosed with depression, I was 13 years old. I was having trouble in school, and they I got put in a mental facility for 2 weeks. Um, and my parents never really heard of depression. My family never really heard of mental health. I had some uncles on my mom's side. One who was a military guy who thought it was an excuse. Um, Still thinks it's an excuse to this very day. Um, I had a lot of family who didn't want to sit near me. They didn't even want to be around me because they were afraid that I would do something, or I would do something to somebody else. And and the whole situation with that is very hard for me to go through. And um, sometimes I have this situation where I don't care, and I've had trouble I've had trouble sleeping for the longest time. Um, that's why I sleep with a sleep machine now. And it's one of those things where it's not all apples and oranges with me. I mean, like, am I a funny guy? Absolutely. Do I have fun? Yes, absolutely. Am I easy to talk to? Yeah, absolutely. That is me. But there's also that other part of me that really just who gets to a point where he just doesn't care. And when I hear drama going on, it's like, for me, I have to get out of it, because I don't care who started it. I don't care who did this. I don't care that someone slapped you and this person slapped you. I At that point, I just don't care. I don't want to hear it. I want to get away from it. And I feel really bad, because I'm very passionate about certain things. Passionate about paranormal. I'm passionate about history. I'm passionate about wrestling. And when I feel like something's blocking my passion, I get angry. I get upset. I don't like it. And it becomes a whole fiasco of me losing sleep, me sitting there contemplating, thinking about it, overthinking about it. And it makes me sick to my stomach. Sometimes I'll overeat because I'm depressed or I'm angry about something. Um, it's hard for me sometimes to go out the door. When I go out the door, let me read what you said here, Charlie. The people who are the happiest on the outside are the ones hurting in the inside, because they know how. Yeah, the people that you see who are very, 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 very happy, and the ones who make you laugh and stuff like that, they're the ones who are usually the ones that are suffering. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. And I wish that our government would understand. I wish this world would understand a little bit better. And I wish that people would stop fucking fighting and stop causing drama with other things, and just realize that that person you're causing drama with, what happens the next day you wake up and that person died, or that person killed themselves? Would you care it in? Oh, absolutely, you would care it in. Oh, absolutely, you care. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear about that. Are you really? Are you really sorry to hear about it? No, and that's the thing that I'm having a hard time with is I see people and there's a lot of fake ass motherfuckers on this people on this earth. It really is. And what you see is what you get with me. I mean, I don't sugarcoat it. Mel doesn't sugarcoat who she is. If I don't like something, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna bounce. That's who I am. And if I feel like it's not worth my time, if I feel like it's not worth my energy, and it messes with me physically and mentally, I'm bowing out. That's how it's always been with me, and that's how I'm always been. Like I live with a moral compass. I have certain moral parts to me that I will not cross. And I will say this much for some of those people in the past on here, and Poston knows who I'm talking about, who wanted me to come on there and be like a man and try to fight them on here on video. That person's very lucky they didn't really get to see the other part of me. Because sometimes I have to sometimes it takes me a little bit like and people are like, oh well, if you're on the right medication, well yeah, even medication is a band-aid of the problem. You know, every month, like at least 2 or 3 times a week. I mean like what, every other week. I go see my therapist, and I've had different kind of therapists since 2016. I've had what, 4 different therapists. 3 of them have left, and I've had to reacquaint myself with someone new again. And I have a hard time doing that because once I center my trust into you, into my care, into my health, and then you bounce, I have to redo this all over again. And it's very hard for me to do that. So I don't trust a lot. And there's a reason why I don't trust a lot. And I really do have that DTA, don't trust anybody attitude. And there are some people in this world I do trust. I mean, I trust to an extent. There's some people I trust my whole life with. And then there's other people who I think I can trust, but then I see that I can't. And once my trust is broken, for me, there's no turning back. Once you've broken something with me, I don't forget and I don't forgive very easily. And that's just something that I am. That's who I am as a person. So if you fucked with me before in the past, I'm not going to forget you. I'm not going to forget it. And I'm definitely not going to forgive you for it. And that's something that a lot of people don't seem to grasp in this world, because now this world that we're living in a world now where you have to bite your tongue. We're living in a world now where you can't say certain things because people get upset, and then those people who are getting upset over the littlest things, you are a bunch of fake ass motherfuckers, because you really don't know when that whole lockdown happened with the virus, suicide rates went up. A lot of people don't realize how bad it got. I mean, luckily for me, I had someone in my corner, and I had someone to, and that's some. I mean, I've been very grateful to have someone in my life for 17 years who's not afraid of that good, who's not afraid of the bad wolf part of me, who's not afraid of the Hulk. She's very much able to contain. I mean, and I found ways to contain myself too. I mean, over the years, when you become 40, you get older, you start to realize, yeah, I don't bite my tongue, but I'm about to eye roll into another dimension. Yeah. um, I'm one of those people who I like to take it in stride. I like to hear all information before I make a decision. and that's who me and Mel have always been. We both been that way. You know, I like to make my decisions. I like to make my decisions before I do stuff. We live in a world now that's full of snowflakes. That it's a fashion statement to have depression now, and that's why yeah, people with mental health they don't get to listen. They don't understand. Like these little people are like, oh my god, it hurts my feelings that you looked at me the other way and you called me. It hurts my feelings that you call me fat. And then they go to you and they go, I understand completely how you feel. No, you don't. You don't know. Unless you are a person who's had PTSD for most of their life, depression, anxiety, anger issues, alcohol, which I was bad with that. I used to be a bad alcoholic, and I had a lot of anger issues. I, um, luckily for me, football helped, boxing helped, wrestling helped, but it was like I was never fully satisfied. I felt like a vegan. I still was never fully satisfied with that. And I could be a ticking time bomb. And that's as bad as that sounds. It's like once you tick something, once you trigger something with me, I start to go into this mode where I look and I do try to see the good in people. And that's something I learned from Mel over the years is I try to see the good in people. I do believe that there is good people still on this earth. I've seen it. There's still good people around here. But I also believe that there's people out there who are only trying to be good to you to to satisfy their own needs. Um, and that's something that let's see what Paulson said. I say we send them to Ukraine to defend the Ukraine puppets that Obama and Biden installed. Absolutely. You know, and that's the thing too with me is I am a big advocate of history. So when you try to change something in history, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I just got done watching this 2.5 hour thing on the History Channel since Sunday. This 2.5 hour long, 3 episode documentary of Abraham Lincoln, and some of the historians in there try to change it about the narrative of what's going on right now in this world, and I'm like, really? Do you really have to do that? My psychiatrist told me today that 80 plus people who are getting diagnosed a day with mental health and taking up help support that people who definitely do suffer can't get the help that they truly need. Absolutely. Me and my therapist talk about that a lot. How she's been in the game for about 20, 30 years. And she's told me oftentimes that a lot of people who have mental health issues do come online and they try to see. The one thing I don't do is I don't like to bring my garbage on here. Like when I'm on here, I know that I'm doing a show. I know I'm being a personality. I know that this is all for show, and I have to play a little bit of strings a little bit. But when I'm off air, I know that I have to take that switch because sometimes I have a hard time switching back because sometimes it becomes a little domino effect. There's some times where I'll go to the store and I'll get angry just for people walking near me. Like I don't like it. I have a hard time breathing. I'll get, especially when we have to wear these masks now, and I already have a hard time breathing because of my PTSD and my depression and anxiety. Wearing that mask is 20 times worse. You know what, Poston? I agree with that, man. Mel's a Catholic, and some of my family members were Southern Baptists, which are not really Christians at that point. Um, but I have been leaning towards more here the last couple months. I've been leaning more towards God. You know, I've been leaning more towards letting God more in my life and talking to him and praying for people, praying for this world, praying for a change. And you know, has it helped me more? Absolutely. It really has. Me embracing, the power of Christ really actually helps. And to be able to understand things more, have more of a logic decisions that I do. Now, it gets to a point sometimes where I have a hard time. I have a hard time breathing. And when I have a hard time breathing, it's really difficult. It's difficult for me to sometimes it's difficult to me to get going in the morning. Like I'll get up and I'm still tired. Like I could sleep an 8 or 9 hour day and I will still feel fucking exhausted. And sometimes it takes me a little bit to get going during the day. Like it would take me a little bit to get going. Then when I finally get going, Mel's tired for the day, and I'm already wired, ready to go. And sometimes that becomes an issue. You have to it's hard for me to juggle that sometimes. Like I will be having all this energy in the world, and she's like, "Whoa, where was that energy at before?" And that's something that becomes a problem. For most issues with people. Um, that's something that every night now before I go to bed, I always make a prayer to God, and I always, you know, I'm always asking for His advice on what I do. What can I do? Who can I do? What changes do I need to make in my life? And that's something that has been really different for me. Um, when you try to do something that you like to do for fun, like when you try to do karaoke and then you see all the toxic people on there, all this drama on there, then you just want to go away from it. And then when you see all the toxic bullshit from stuff that you like, you just want to go away from it. I completely 110% agree with that last statement you made, Paulson. I agree with that. It's just that anybody that knows me has had a conversation with me. You know that I care about people. I do have love for people. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people um, strive, and I'm very easy to talk to. Once you're able to talk to me about something, anybody that's ever had a problem knows that they can easily come to me because I understand how people feel. It's one of those things where if you don't understand him, but how someone feels, then they're not going to come to you. And sometimes it's hard for us to come to people because there's family members who don't agree that who don't believe that mental health is a problem. I have to put on a facade. I have to put on a face anytime I meet my mom's side of the family because majority of them don't accept me for me. A lot of them don't even accept the fact that I went through shit, and it sucks that I have to go through this little facade. And while and there's been some times when we've been around friends and we're all having fun, laughing, while they're all laughing and giggling. On that inside, on the outside you're laughing, but on the inside you're just really not. You just don't want to be there. Um, and there's been some times where I've had some really close calls with the devil. There's been some times where I've had some close calls with um, not wanting to be here on this earth, and it's something it's scary, and it really does scary. It is really, and it when you have an experience like that, it humbles you. Let's see. I can't comment when it comes to guy. And one thing about me though is there's some people that I look up to in this world. Um, when I say that they're heroes, I look up to them and I follow their path. One thing is getting getting yourself out of these situations. At one point I wanted to run as president of the United States of America. Yeah, I'll become more of a recluse as well, and it uh, sometimes I don't like it because me and Mel used to go out more to shoot pool. We used to do things more, and it puts an effect on her. And you have to think about it that way too. When you have mental health issues and you have a partner, you have to think about their feelings too, and it becomes that whole fiasco of that. Like you have to juggle her feelings, and then you have to juggle your feelings, and sometimes we clash, and sometimes we get really clash, and then when I get really angry, I will say things that hurts, and it becomes like it becomes a vicious circle. You know, I'll say something when I'm like that. I will say something that hurts, and I will make sure that it hurts. I mean, the one thing that I've learned over years, though, the one thing I have gotten better with is I've learned to think before I say anything, and that's one thing that really is a hard thing to do. But I really do truly think now before I say a word. You know, that's the thing. Mel used to become more of a Mel was more of a social butterfly. When I first met her, I was the awkward, shy, quiet, not really out there. I would have never done this in a million years back then. Mel was more of the social butterfly, and over time, our personality switched. Now I'm more of the social butterfly, and she's more of the I don't like people. I hate people. I don't want to be around people, uh, and it becomes a thing now where you have to kind of just and think about that kind of situation. But people want to know what's really inside my mind, and to be honest with you, you really don't want to know what's inside my mind because once I get going, I won't stop. There's things in my head that I can make someone feel 20 times worse and small than they feel. I know how to hit the right buttons, but I don't like being that way. I'm not the kind of guy that likes to be that guy. Some of these guys on here, could I attack on a daily basis? Absolutely. Could I make their lives a living hell? Absolutely. But what's the point? What's the cost in it? Is it going to make me feel better? No. It's just going to put more stress on me. And, you know, I'm 40 years old. I'm already gray headed as it is. All right. So I, I don't need it. You know, that's the thing about me is I don't need it. I don't need aggravation. I don't need things. And when I'm interested in something, it's because I want to do it. Not because I'm being forced to or not because I do something, but this world now is full of people who are about themselves and not about other people. That's the world we live in now. It's about people who are all about themselves. They want to make sure everything's good about themselves first before they even give a fuck about you. And Prodigal Hill was one of the very first people when I did the Kev's Point of View channel and this channel who basically was like, look, man, let me do everything in my power to make sure that you get subs and you get views and stuff like that. That's why me and him are having a mutual understanding with each other. That's what it is for me. I'm one of those people who will give my hat off my back too, like my shirt off my back. Like if someone came up to me and said, hey, look, I'm wanting to do a friend of mine told me he's wanting to get into the podcast business and he asked me about it the other day. And I said, look, it's a lot of work, but you got to be creative. You got to be different than other people. You have to strive, always stay yourself. Never change yourself for other people that want you to change. And that's the thing about me is I like talking about different things. I like talking about different stuff in this world. And I don't want to just be attached to just one subject. And here lately, I've been attached to just one subject. And not to say I don't like it, because I do love wrestling. I do love pro wrestling, but there's a whole lot more to me than that. I love gaming. I love comics. I love movies. I love football. I love sports. I love. You have to get 2 strikes every week. Are you able to still do your post on Facebook though? Posting instead of on YouTube, can you still do stuff on your Facebook before they start coming after you too? And that's the thing too. I'm a guy who believes in the Constitution. I'm a guy who believes in the Declaration of Independence and what was said on there. I actually lived that life. Oh, wow. See, that's the thing we're living now. We can't even say what we feel. We can't even say how we feel about certain things in life without it pissing somebody off or without it like causing a problem, causing conflict. I don't like conflict very well. Now, when I worked security at the bars, did I have to get physical with people? Yes. Did I like getting physical with people? No. When I boxed back then, when I was boxing and when I was doing my Muay Thai, did I like getting physical with people? No. I love the competition of it, but I didn't want to hurt people. But I can. I'm a pretty well oiled. I could be a pretty well oiled machine if I want to be. But the one thing about me though that's very hard to overcome is when I'm in my mood. I'm not the nicest or easiest person to get along with, and Mel can attest to that. It's like almost like you want to like take me. It's almost like sometimes she wants to cut my head off and basically ask like, where's my husband at? I don't like this guy. Um, it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sometimes. It's not the fact that you're trying to be that way, it's just how it is. There was a chat earlier. There was a chat earlier that I was a part of. I'm not going to go into any details because I'm not that kind of person, but I was sitting back, I was watching. The reason why I was invited to this chat in the first place seemed kind of off because of something that was happening on Twitter, and I was wondering why I wasn't invited earlier, sooner. That always came through my mind. And I thought that I thought this chat was supposed to be about storylines and was supposed to be about matches and ideas, and it was just a straight fort of blah drama, everything on there, and I just trying my best in my life not to be around that kind of stuff because it feeds on me. Even though you read words online, people don't think, okay, what's words online that ain't supposed to hurt you. That stuff feeds on you. That shit feeds on you like a feast. And you have to like readjust yourself. You have to take your step back from it. When that's what I did. I took myself out of it because I had to take a step back. If I don't take a step back, there would have been some things that said that I probably would have regretted saying. And I'm not the kind of person I don't like doing videos where you're exposing someone. I don't like videos where I have to like talk shit about people. That's just not me. I don't like that kind of shit. I don't do that kind of stuff. And that's something I will never ever do. And I will still stay true to myself on that. I could go on like a 2 or 3 hour rant on people in my past and people who have pissed me off. But what's the point? I mean, would it make me feel better in the end? No. Being the bigger person, being the better person by not saying anything speaks more volumes, and then going off there and just blah, 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 blah. Silence has more power than words. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's one thing though. What Poston's talking about right there when he says kayfabe, sometimes in the YWC, there's sometimes you will see me and Poston we'll kayfabe and we'll talk some shit about AEW to piss off some AEW and YWC guys. It's all in good fun. There's a difference when you're doing it in all good fun and you're just poking around and you're just being a troll and you're being fun, you're just having fun with it. There's another when you start getting personal with people. And that's something that I won't do. I will never go personal with somebody. I don't want it. But why do it? Doesn't make me a better person, doesn't make you a better person, doesn't make anybody a better person. And when I saw the drama earlier today, I'm sitting there thinking, why can't we just move on? Fuck these people. They're gone, right? Don't worry about them. Let's move on and do this. But no, there was just this long line of stuff. And I'm just like, look, I'm getting too many notifications. I'm done. I don't want to be a part of this now. I don't want to be in this chat. It's just too much. And not that I'm against anybody. I mean, because I do like people. I know Mel doesn't like people, but I actually try to like people. Um, Mel would rather Mel would rather be all cute and hold a golden and then cut your head off. Me, on the other hand, I would try to find ways to like you, but once you cross that line, there's no going back with me. Mel's got more forgiveness than I do. That's something I will honestly say. That's the difference between us. I don't forgive easily. I damn sure don't forget. So, once that line with me is crossed, there ain't no going back. There's no going forward. There's no going anywhere. And then you are now in that position. You are what I like to consider, you are in the land of Fuckville at that point. And I'm the mayor, I'm the warden, I'm the executioner at that point. I put in an effort to like people. There are some people I like and some I'd rather not deal with. Yeah. I see me and Prodigal Hill have the same exact mindset on that. Like, there's people I really do put forth the effort to like. And there's some people I did like, and there's some people that I still, even if I had a problem with them, I still might like them. Doesn't mean I have to forgive or forgive them. Doesn't mean I have to be their friend to like them. I take friendship very, very, very seriously. That's one thing Mel will tell you. Once I put forth all of my effort and my resource and my everything into something, once it's taken away from me or once it's put to me, that is when I go berserk. I will rip that shirt off and I will become Hulk and I will just get green and I will start smashing the fuck out of people. And it's hard to control that. Some people look at Mel and they go, some of my old childhood friends have looked at Mel and go, how the hell are you able to control that? How are you able to control him? And she's like, I just do. It's a gentle touch. It's basically giving me a hug. Sometimes I just need one. And she will come right over here, give me a hug, and just, unconditional love. And that really does go a long way. A lot of people don't understand that, and it's real conditional love. And when people in the past on here have mentioned her, I'm definitely not going to forgive you. Then I'm definitely not going to forget it. That's at the point there where you really do cross the line with me, and it becomes a, whew, if their faces were in front of me, I would cut them off with my fucking ship, with my fucking my little Viking thing that I got over here. I'm not a person to, and when I do get a chance to go to the shooting range, all I want to do is just relax. But then when I go to the shooting range and I get one of those little, then when you buy one of those targets that look like one of those Saudi Arabian people, or like, ISIS people, and you see them, then they look like that, and you just want to put a bullet from them. I don't look at the thing. I look at the person that pissed me off, and I look at their face, and I look at it, and I see my target. If anyone ever wanted to learn how to shoot, and etiquette 101 right there. You don't look at, when you look at the target, it looks like a normal little target, a little black blank body. But picture the person you don't like on that target. Trust me, you will be more accurate with shooting than you ever have been before. And Poston knows what I'm talking about. It's a really fun thing. And here soon, though, we're going to be coming on here. Me and Mel are. We're going to be reviewing the Pam and Tommy show on Hulu. It's actually a really good show. I was hesitant to watch that show, but actually, it's a really good Pam and Tommy show. The Pam and Tommy show about their sex tape. It's actually a really good show. We just got done watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on YouTube. But one thing I did love about that movie is it's right after the original. Like all these years, where was they were trying to find Leatherface, and the one woman who survived in the original is now an older woman who's trying to kill him. And I think it's yeah. I mean, so yeah, that movie was really well done. I didn't like the ending, but we'll get into that later. And me and Mel have a chance to watch the new Batman movie early. I think I'm going to take that up, and I'm actually going to see what Rob Pattinson can do as Batman, and start doing those reviews, because I miss doing the reviews. I miss doing the comedy side of things, and um, and that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start working on this Transformer comedic thing that I'm doing. Uh, the last show that I've ever done on the EFED that I had FWE, I'm doing one FWE show called WrestleMania, and I'm ending it after that. So you get a chance. When you get a chance, you will see that. It's actually pretty fun. I filmed it last year. I just haven't had a chance to really put everything together. So now we've already seen some of those dream matches on there. We've already seen now. So now I'm kind of like, well, fuck. But still, anyways, we're going to get more into what the Titans are going to do during the off season. I want to talk about that. I'm going to start talking more historic stuff, and me and Mel are going to talk more about paranormal, because I could be a paranormal guru, and there's a lot of stuff that I know. And yeah, Poston, I will check that movie out. You're talking about Southern Comfort. I got your text on that. Yeah, I would definitely check that out. Said you want to do a remake, and that's an easy remake. Well, here in Tennessee, if it with that countryside, yeah, it would probably be easy to do. Um, on a bad note, here's on a sad note. So we went to our storage unit, and I had my Michael Myers mask from the Myers versus Voorhees film in this box, right? So we open it up, and the damn thing is stuck together. It broke apart. I don't know what kind of material that mask was, but that mask broke apart now. So yeah, I do not own the Michael Myers mask anymore from the Myers versus Voorhees film. It's stuck together. and I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened. I mean, the place that we have it at was very insulated. It was very. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's dead now. Me and Mel have found a way to kill Michael Myers. Uh, so yeah, me and Mel have found a way to kill Michael Myers. You just put him in a box, lock him up there for a couple years, let his face sit there at the bottom, and he'll stick together. He'll just stick and melt. That's awesome, Bolson. Yeah, I'll talk about it. So we'll talk about that. I'll watch the movie later, and I'll definitely be in touch with Polson about that because that sounds fun. The one thing too is there's this thing coming out with 2K22 that I think is really cool. There's the My GM mode. It used to be with the Raw versus SmackDown game. Um, there's a thing now where you can actually create yourself as a GM on both shows. So it's something that I've been thinking about for a little bit to have some fun with some people we know and just kind of having fun with that. But we'll see what happens with that. Um, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna probably make this a weekly thing. I know a lot of people care about mental health, and a lot of people go through stuff, and I feel like I need to be the voice of the voiceless. And that's something that I want to really do. I want to be the voice of the voiceless. People who are afraid to talk about stuff. Let me be that guy that's not that. That's if you're afraid to talk about stuff, let me be the one that does it for you. I don't mind being a warrior. I'm God's warrior. And that's something that I don't mind doing, and I don't mind taking up for people, helping people, and that's the one thing about me. And here's something too. People are wondering, man, Kev, how can you be friends with certain people? Yeah, I don't know who that is, Poston, but if you can let me know in a text message later who that person is, and I can look into it and maybe try to get them on or something, maybe. But the thing is, too, with me is some people are afraid to rock the boat. People are afraid to rock the boat on how they feel about certain things because they don't want to let go of stuff. I'm not afraid to rock the boat. I've been friends with people before who I've been friends with people before who hate each other. And I've been people wonder how the hell can you still be friends with both of them at the same time? It's easy. My friend Matt, the 30 years that I've known, for 30 fucking years, there's someone he's friends with that I completely don't like. But he's friends with them anyways. I mean, I'm not going to judge him for it. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against them. And that's the problem with this world. People hold shit against people way too much. I look at it like this: if I'm not bound by you, if I'm not married to you, if I'm not under contract to work for you, then I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Regardless of who you feel or regardless of who you like as a person, that doesn't make a difference. So if I wanted to go over there and have tea and crumpets with Vince McMahon and people don't like Vince McMahon, then tough shit. I mean, that's, I mean, come on now. I mean, this world's life is too short to have problems with people. Life is too short to be over there scared to express how you feel about something, or and that's something that a lot of people need to understand is life's too short, and right now I'm 40 years old. We don't know when your clock's ticking. The moment we come out of that womb of our mamas, we don't know when those clock is going to finally tick. It's like that Nickelback video. I think today was your last day or something like that, when you see the little, if you go back and watch that music video, you see the ticker above their heads. That is something that me and Mel live with. And we live with that kind of moment. We're like, look, let's just do it. Let's live in the moment. Fuck it. You know, let's go jump out of the plane. Let's go do these things because you don't know when you have that opportunity. And when you have these problems with people on here and you're having these drama filled, unnecessarily bullshit, think to yourself, well, while you're saying all these bad things about that person behind their back, think about it like this. What if that person died the next day? Would you care then? Of course you would care then. But then you would be a hypocrite. You would be lying to yourself on how you feel. I'm not going to lie on how I feel here. There's one person in particular who I don't like and I despise. And if they passed away, I'm completely sorry for it. And I know that might be harsh, but that's just how I am. That's being honest. Now, God does teach you to forgive. God teaches you forgiveness. And I do try to walk that path to try to forgive people. But with the way my past is and the way that I am, I'm rough around the edges. Mel will tell you that I am rough around the edges, and I'm still at 40 years old. I can still be rowdy, and sometimes I look for an excuse to knock the fuck out of somebody. But I also look at it like this: you got to be smart in this world, and that's something that wisdom has taught me. That's something that my dad has taught me. That's something that a lot of people don't realize the shit that me and Mel went through the last 2 years. It wasn't just the pandemic that we went through. Mel lost both her grandmothers in a month span. I almost lost my dad twice. And my dad still ain't the same man as he used to be. Um, we went through a thing where we went through a lot of different bullshit. And a lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people would be like, eh, but we didn't cover, we didn't cry, we didn't hide, we didn't do anything. We just stuck together and we fought together. And that is what is most important to me. Um, so I will never, I don't make any decisions. I don't like to make any decisions without Mel. And if Mel is not feeling it, if she doesn't want to do something, then I ain't going to do it. That's just how it is. That's how we roll together. That's like if she came up to me and she wanted to do something and I wasn't feeling it, she's not going to do it unless I want to as well. And that's something that a lot of people don't do. Um, when me and Mel used to do wrestling videos back in the day, a lot of people wanted to know, like, well, what happens? Well, what did we do? Well, I'll tell you what we did. We didn't use people. That's something we didn't do. We cared about people. And if someone came up to us and said, "Hey, I used to work with you guys. Can you take your video? Can you take our video down?" We would do it with no hesitation whatsoever. Because that's what you do. That's that's business ethics 101. So that might be an unpopular opinion to some people, and I don't care. I really don't. I got much respect for people in this business uh, that put their bodies on the line, that puts their life on the line. I was in indie wrestling back in 2001 to 2004. I I've been in that ring. I know how it feels. I know the shit that you have to go through and the business side of it and having to work your ass off. And then you have these veterans who don't want you to go nowhere because they've been there for 20, 30 years. I get it. I've been there. I've seen it. I've done it. But I've always had respect for the people that have done it before me. In this day and age, people aren't humble no more. People don't give a fuck anymore. You got professional football athletes out there who don't give a damn about the guys that have been there before them. All they're about is, man, I want my money. I want my money. Yeah, I can't talk here. That's pretty much what it is. And then you got some people on here who think they're fucking Tom Brady, and I'm sort of thinking, you ain't Tom Brady. You're never going to be Tom Brady. There's only one GOAT, and that's Tom Brady. So you can say what you want, but it's not going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't like cocky people. I like people who are confident in their abilities, but I do not like cocky people, because cocky people are the ones who are hiding the most bullshit. And I would pay anything. I would do anything in the world to get back and have that one more match that I've been yearning to have one last time in a ring. But it's not, to me, the way drama stuff and the way things are going this day, it's not worth it to me. And that's an unpopular decision, and I really don't give a fuck. We all know that Nathan what Nathan Peterson is the real goat. Yeah, well, that's the thing about it. Well, any job I've ever been into, and to be honest with you, you don't really understand a business. You can't understand business and money unless you worked a real 9 to 5 job. And that's something that me and Mel have done. We still do. Like, even if me and Mel were to hit the lotto today and get like $100 million, we would both still work. It would not it would I mean, why? I mean, why just go and be like, I don't want to do it anymore? We got a bunch of lazy motherfuckers in this world now. That's the problem. They're entitled. That's what it is. Entitled pissants. Entitled bullshit. That's my problem. There's a lot of entitled people who think that their shit doesn't stink. And I have a huge problem with anyone pissing on people who have been there before you. I have a huge problem with that. And the one thing is, when I first started doing wrestling, I respected every single person that was there before me. I learned from them. I picked their brain. I studied the game. I studied everything that I could do. Was there jealousy from them about me because of how quickly I rose up to it? Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be jealousy in anything you do. But there's also a chance of being humble. There's a chance of being hungry. Humble and hungry. The two H's. Humble and hungry. Even at 40 years old, I'm still humble. I'm still hungry. That's something that, one thing I've learned from my dad over the years, and the one thing I learned from my boxing coach was, and when I played football, I learned this from my football coach as well. That I was my football coach. I was fortunate to have a guy who used to be a drill sergeant, and the way he did our two a days, the way he did our practices, I have more respect for the military than I ever can tell you. It was like a military boot camp, and it was rough. It was, oh my God, but it made us better players. It made us tougher. It made us stronger, and it made us more mentally sharp. And and the one thing about wrestling is, I respect the guys that have been there before me. Like right now, I tell you right now, if I was wrestling still and I was in the WWE, I'd be over there right now picking the Undertaker's brain, Shawn Michaels' brain. I would be asking them, what can I do to be better? What can I do to position myself? And some people live with the gimmick, and that's another problem. People live with the gimmick. They They don't understand how to take their real life and then keep it away from what they're going through. I mean, like, you can't just be, oh, I'm the greatest ever 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because that gets kind of fucking old and it gets really bad. The one thing I don't do is I don't come on here bashing somebody. I won't do that. I won't come on an interview bashing people. I have a moral compass, and I have a huge problem when people are getting attacked for no reason. And it's a thing with me. And I enjoy doing these videos with you guys, with some of the guys on here. I enjoy doing these things because stuff like this makes me happy. It's good. Uh, the one thing though I won't do is I don't work for anybody. I don't do. I've walked away from jobs in the past for people who are treating me like shit, and that's something that if you're going to own any kind of business, I don't care what kind of business you're in, you need to take care of the people that work for you. Not for yourselves. You don't want to keep all the money for yourselves. You want to work for the people. You want to keep your people happy. You want people to sign waivers. You want people to get paid. You want to make sure that, because in the world we live in now, it's more important than ever to pay somebody. Because now we're living in a poverty, we're almost living in poverty. Like, gas going up, food's going up, everything's going up. You want to change that mentality. You can't just be like, oh, this is all mine, all mine. No, no, no. That's not how this works. That's not how life works. So when I see people like that, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to. I'm not going to work for somebody like that. And that's just who I am as a person. And Mel's the same way. We both make decisions together. We always talk about it. Now, there's a lot of times I think Mel will agree with me. There's a lot of times we don't agree with each other on stuff. And she'll tell me something that I don't agree with, and I will tell her something that she doesn't agree with. But at the same time, we always come to some common ground to where it benefits both of us. Not just one, both. And that's the reason why when me and Mel were doing stuff back in the day, we were fairly successful at it because we cared about the people that were doing stuff for us. We looked after people. And this day and age and when you run a business, you got to be careful because people can sue you for the stupidest thing. Like, if you don't have when I tried out in 2010, I'll tell you guys this story. It was the last time I played football. I tried out for college football around 2002. My left knee blew out. And 2010, there was a minor league football team here called the Nashville Storm. I trained my ass off as much as I possibly could. And I went to that tryout. And I did everything that I was supposed to do. But I didn't make it. Because there was guys on there who were just freakishly great. They were better than me. And it was a long time. And I took that as a very humble experience because the reason why I'm telling you guys that now is that you gotta learn to be humble in life. You gotta be thankful for the things that you have because everything that you have can be taken away from you with the snap of a finger. And that's one thing that I know a lot of people on here, They live their gimmicks. They live their lives as the character that they portray online. And um, there's a difference with there's a difference with Big Kev, and there's a difference with Kev. Um, my friends in real life call me Kev. Um, and there's a different guy. There's a totally different guy there. Kev cares to a degree. Big Kev's the it's just the internet persona that you portray when you do your shows and you do your podcasts and or gaming or whatever else it is. I understand that. Right now, it says Big Kev's world, but right now this is Kev talking. This ain't Big Kev. This is Kev, and it's a totally different thing with me. Like I am a different beast. I'm a different animal than Big Kev is. People need to learn to understand that. You can be this person online all you want, but don't lose sight on who you are behind the scenes. That's my final advice to anybody. Don't lose sight on who you are. You have to understand that Big Kev and Kev are the same guy, but Big Kev is just me with the volume turned up. That crank turned up. Kev is a different guy. Kev can be the nicest guy in the world. Kev can also be an asshole. I can be a nasty asshole. Mean. And if I have gotten that way, it's because people who have deserved it. And but I remember one conversation my dad had with me one time when I was playing baseball. And I got overly confident. I got cocky, and I was like, man, look at me just hitting these balls wherever they go. I'm catching everything. And this was me during practice and training camp. And my dad went to me and said, look, you may be good now, but once you start playing these games, or you're going to struggle, and you're going to find out that these guys on here are better than you. Lord, was he right? There is always someone out there better than you. Whether or not you are, no matter what you do, you could be the best cook in the world. There's always going to be somebody that's a better cook than you. You could be the best like sniper, the best gun person. There's always somebody out there who's better than you. You could be the best singer. You could think to yourself, oh my God, I sing this song great. And then you can go on to a nap and you can be like, damn, that person blew me out of the water. There's always somebody in this world better than you. That's why it's always great to be humble. And if someone is better than you, I was one of those people who, if someone was better than me, I would study them. I would study everything that they were doing, and I would try to make sure that I can outbeat them, because that's how competitive I can be. But if I couldn't beat them, I live with that. I was okay with that. When you go to a gym nowadays, I see these younger guys who are smaller, skinny, 150 pound, 180 pounds soaking wet. And then they're over there trying to lift, and they're trying to do exactly what you're doing in the gym. And it's like, damn. I'm like, do we have to be this fucking competitive here, guys? I mean, and I was that same stupid idiot who tore my chest muscle. I tore my pectoral muscle back in '07 because I started seeing these bigger guys in the gym, and then I was over there bench pressing more than I was supposed to, and I paid the price for it. So I'm a very humble person when it comes to things, and And then there's things in my life that I got to do that Mel didn't get to see me do. But then she reminded me today she did get to see it. She saw me get the chance to train this guy Chase and this guy Justin in a wrestling ring. I had 30 minutes. I remember it was a 20 or 30 minutes that I had. It was at this wrestling event called Saw Wrestling in Nashville. And, the guy who was training the guys there said, "Hey, Kevin, you got about 20, 30 minutes to teach these guys in the ring." And I'm like, "Okay, we're good. I got 30 minutes. All right." And I felt really good about it because these were bigger guys. Um, I taught them how to bump the ropes. I taught them the little basic stuff, and I taught them how to take a front bump and a back bump. And one of them started wrestling for a couple years, and I was so proud to see that guy do that. And then I met my friend Hunter, um, who's like a little brother to me, younger brother to me. He looks like me too, which is kind of creepy in a way. He's my little mini me. I mean, he's smaller than me, but he's like my little mini me. I love the guy to death. Probably one of the best athletic wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. More than Jeff Hardy, more than Edge, more than any of them. This kid had the most potential I have ever seen anybody have. So I met him through, the same two gentlemen that I was training. And Hunter comes up to me and goes, hey, man, I know you. He's like, "I'm having some trouble." And I was like, what's going on? He's like, "I don't know how to talk. I got the look, I got the moves, but I don't know how to talk." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you came to the right guy." And we would go. I remember one time we went to this park late at night, and I told him, like, "Look, I want you to do a promo as a face, and I want you to do a promo as a heel." And at that time, they were about to change him heel. He's never been a bad guy before, and because of that, he went further than he's ever gotten a chance to go before. Um, so when I saw him go around different areas and he was putting forth the effort, it made me proud to see that. And then there was one time in 2010, we went to that same Saw Wrestling. Went to one of their shows. Afterwards, they let us all get into the ring, and that guy Chase that I was training was scared to get back in the ring. Mel told him stop being a little pussy and get back in the ring. Uh, she was worse than I was about it, but he got into the ring. But this one kid, Trippy, was a very would you call him a crackhead? I have to say that he was a little cracked out, but fast. I mean, I was teaching him how to take a suplex off the fucking top rope, and I was doing that. I was doing that. Wasn't that the same week, hon, that I actually almost broke my ankle? So yeah, I was in there with almost like a fucking sprained ankle, jumping off the top rope with this kid, teaching him how to take bumps right afterwards with a sprained ankle. And it's hard to do stuff with a sprained ankle. Believe me. That's true. If there's anybody that's a great heel, it's the prodigal heel. He's got those heel things down. Um, but the one thing is now all those guys don't wrestle anymore. My friend Hunter hurt his back really bad, and it shattered his dreams. Like I would hear him talk and how depressed he got, and just seeing that alone. Now I'm so proud of him because he's got a full-time job working in a warehouse. He's changing his life around. He's found that he's found that thing that's made him happy, and I'm proud of that. Um, when I told him the possibility of me getting back in the ring, he was the first one that got excited for me, but he pretty much said, "Can they handle you? Because you are a different person. You're a different breed." I mean, I'm I will say this much: I'm a very physical guy, and I don't. I'm not going. I would never do something if I didn't know I can do 100% with it. If I didn't feel like I could be the full me, I wouldn't do it at all. You could talk a good game, but if I couldn't be who I wanted to be, then I wouldn't do it. In the army, can be all that you can be in the army. But I had to hear the harsh stuff. He told me like, man, you're older now. You weren't as smaller as you were back then. You're bigger now, and I had to hear that from Mel too. And then these are things that might have hurt, but necessary. And I'm glad I didn't spend like a lot of fucking money on stuff because that would have been bad. But at the meantime, though, I mean, I'm glad that I met a lot of great people, and you know, I love doing those podcasts with Jay, and I love doing them. With him in particular, like his past with wrestling and my past with wrestling, it's just I love hearing stories and hearing about stuff like that. To me, it's one of those things that I strive for. But I'm gonna make this a weekly thing inside the mind of Big Kev. But next time I'm just gonna call it inside my mind. But like I said, we got some things coming up though. I think we might do a marriage diaries too, which we haven't done in like a month or two because Mel's a cuckoo head. Um, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start trying to do some interview series with some people that are just not that are not really into the world of professional wrestling. Trying to give it a little bit of more of a nice spin to it. Like I got two friends that I really want to try to bring on to talk to them and stuff like that. I'm trying to get my buddy Hunter because he's got some story. He's fucking funny as shit. Um, but I hope no one takes offense to what I said in this video. I hope you don't. But if you do, if I don't get an Easter card from you, I know why. And it's okay. But there's more to the mental health story than meets the eye. I'm not going to explain it all because if I explain it all, then I wouldn't have a show to do. But next time I'll have Mel join with me and she'll kind of explain like a little bit on how to deal with me. What she doesn't want you to know is she uses a letter whip, and she that's what she does. I'm just kidding. Uh, anyway, I like to thank the people who are subbed to me right now. 67 subscribers on here. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. Like, share, and sub. If you have some stories, and I thank Charlie and I thank the Prodigal Hill for giving me a little bit of their take on it. If you guys have some stories you like to tell, please post your comments down below. There's gonna be some different stuff on this channel coming up. I mean, I am gonna start working on on some wrestler bios. I did tell Superstar Xavier Michaels that we can do that, so that still will be going on. I just wanted to come on here and I kind of wanted to explain what was really going inside my mind and why I made certain decisions today and why I'm okay with those decisions that I made. That's something that once I make a decision, it's hard. It will definitely be hard for me to change my mind after that. But if you have somebody in your life that is going through something, let them know that you love them. Hug them, kiss them. Um, let them know they're there. Let them know that they're not alone. That's what people really need in this world right now. But this is Big Kev, and you all are living in my world.